Hey, this is Daniel Norton. I'm here in my studio in New York City with Jessica. And Jessica's the design director at Adorama, and she is pregnant, if you can't tell. So we decided we were going to make some fun maternity shots today. We're going to, we looked at a few things, right? There was a cool shot that she sent me that was kind of had a window in the background. I was like, perfect, I have windows in my studio. But then when I got here this morning, the light wasn't really even enough, and it didn't look very good, so I said, well, I can fix that, right? So here I am, and I'm going to create kind of a fake window behind her so we have more control. This is useful, I guess if it wasn't bright outside, I could do this in the middle of the night. I mean, I could do this anytime I want. So basically I have these shears. I got a whole bunch of them. I just set them up here. I have V-flats blocking my windows. You can probably see some light coming from the back, and I've got my softbox back here. Now, the softbox is just going to create like a blast of light that's going to be a little bit uneven on the shear, which is kind of like what a window looks like when the light's coming through. This is just the Chimera softbox, the one without the recessed front, which I like for that. So I got a couple of these hanging on there. This is just a set of auto pulls, hanging some drapes up, and I want to make this even, so I don't have to go back again. So I'm actually using quite a few lights in this because I wanted to have a lot of control. I didn't want to do just a standard silhouette. So what we've got going on here is I've got this light from the back, which is actually just giving us like a background light. It's barely lighting her at all. If I just use that light, it'll be like a silo. And then I'm using a couple of other lights to light up key areas. I have a B1 in the back here with a grid on it for kind of her back and separation and hair. We've got this one down here for the baby. And this over here is just a softbox to give a little bit of light on her face. And that should give us a pretty good shot. My camera's over here on a tripod already. So I'm gonna run through and show you what each of these lights are doing. I've got my my controller here. The one thing I did do, because I'm going to turn this one off physically because it's actually sharing a channel with another light, and if I want to show you separately, I cannot do that. So I'm in Capture 1, and I'm going to start with the background. So actually, I'm going to have you get in a position now, I guess. Almost forgot. So basically, she's going to mostly be sideways to us. We've got the quote window behind her, and we'll set up first with that. So this is, again, this is actually in my C zone. So when you're doing this kind of stuff, make sure that you put your lights in zones so you can remember. My background light is always C. I'll turn the modeling light on so I can see it. All right, so I can see that I messed up the drapes, of course. Life of a photographer, constantly fixing drapes. All right, perfect. I'm gonna have you step one step forward that way. Good. What I'm trying to do here is just get a nice silhouette. A little bit more. Good, right there, good. And we're just gonna see what this one light does. So again, now we've got just this like window light coming in with a lot of contrast. And again, there's no detail really on her at all. It's just giving the shape. I did try a few different size softboxes. I found this one that worked the best. My A group, so that's C, kill that guy. And my A group is just for the baby bump. Right, that's just giving us some definition down there. My tinder's blowing up over there. Let's see. B is going to give me, again, like the back light kind of for her hair and separation. See what that's doing? And just a little bit of light back there. And then finally this guy over here, which is also in the A group. We'll turn it on manually. If you have the controllers that aren't TTL, you can actually have up to, I think, E. So if you're doing a lot of lights like this, that can be very useful. All right, so this is now, again, that kind of fill light on her face. This is going to be kind of underexposed. We want just this warm feel. And you can see that this is what the softbox is doing up here. This bright spots down here is the gridded light. Again, that's just a soft fill. It's supposed to get the effect of like the light bouncing around in a room. All right, so if we turn everything on, we should get a completed shot, which looks like that. There we go, pretty nice. Now, what we'll do now is just, that's actually really nice. Oh, it's nice when you do the good pose right away. I don't have to do anything. Yeah, this works out really well. Now, just as far as camera settings, you can see I'm at 3.2 1/1600th of a second. So I didn't want the shears to be too sharp, and I'm limited in space here because of my setup. So I decided to use high-speed sync in order to accomplish that. The reason that I didn't just turn the lights down is because the ambient light in the space is the reason for my settings, right? If I had stayed within my regular flash range, and that's pretty nice, and just went, let's say, so for instance, I'll just do it for you guys. If I turn my flashes off altogether and I go to 250, let's see, 3.2, 250, what will end up happening is I'm going to pick up some of the light, right? You see all this light here? That's all the light that's bouncing around in the space. Even with all my windows closed and everything else, I still have all that light. So this is the reason why I'm in high-speed sync right now. This is really the reason to use it. And you can see there, we get that black frame that we normally get before we start. You want to be in control when you're doing this type of stuff. Okay, so we'll shoot a few more. This is nice. This might end up being black and white. We can play around with it a little bit. The trick here is we want to basically show some definition without being overly lit, right? It's not a full silhouette, but it's definitely a silhouette feel. That's good. She's thinking about lunch, so she's happy. Everybody's always thinking about lunch for some reason. Good, good, good. That's good. It's coffee and then lunch. That's basically the... Awesome. So nice and simple. Silhouette feel. So basically, there's a lot of lights going on because we wanted a lot of control, right? But ultimately, you don't have to go crazy. We could have just used the windows if we wanted to. We could have used the windows and just worked around it, but I knew the shot I wanted. If I was just brought somebody in my studio and said, let's shoot by the windows, that'd be one thing, but we really had an idea. So that's why I took the extra steps to do this, and understanding light will allow you to kind of create the shot that you want whenever you want it. Okay, so we got the first shot, and the other idea that we had was to just use like kind of the windows to produce some nice light, like just natural light by the window kind of shot, which I was gonna do, and I had this set up, and I was like, hey, you know what? This could be a great fill, right? I've got all this silk right here, a couple of lights behind it, and let's see, over by the window, we've got Jessica over here, hanging out. That was my dressing room back there. So we've got this like beautiful swath of light coming in behind her, and I'm gonna go shallow dip the field. I switched to my 85, so we're gonna shoot relatively wide open, just near the window, pretty light coming in on her, and I'm gonna shoot it two different ways. I'm gonna shoot it both with the flash and without to kind of show you guys the difference and also to give some variety. So I'll steal the chair from you. Cool, all right, so again, I've got my Canon camera here with the 85mm lens on it. I don't have the flash on right now. Let's see, so my exposure I'm set at 1/1600th of a second at f2. Let me see what that looks like. Nice and pretty, good. Oh, nice. That's actually really pretty, except for she's making a crazy face, but we'll try to not make a crazy face. I mean, unless you want. It's up to you. Crazy face is okay. All right, good. That's pretty. Nice like that. Good. I am tethered into Capture One here, so I'm just taking a second to quickly look at my exposure and everything. And we can see I decided to go with a nice soft depth of field. You can see the whole thing has a bit of a warm feel from the light bouncing around in here, and it's nice, even light on her. You know, I've got a big shade out there. And this is perfectly acceptable and nice to shoot like this. The other thing we can do is turn my flash on. And I'm in high-speed sync, of course, in order to keep my shallow depth of field here. And when we add the flash to this, I'll check my exposure. Yeah, see how that cleans it up a little bit? So let me just take a quick look for analysis purposes here. So we've got, you know, natural, no flash. Then we have the flash, and it's subtle, right? And I can control it as much as I want. So I can now take my flash and I can turn it up if I want. Let's bring it up a stop. The trick here is going to be to find a good balance. Yeah, that's nice. So this actually brings it into more, almost like a more commercial feel to it. So if you are somebody, let's say, shooting for maternity wardrobe, that kind of thing, this could actually be really nice for a catalog. It's going to give us consistency. If it's catalog, though, you have to be happy. Like, I'm happy that I'm pregnant and I can buy these clothes. Hey, see that? So that instantly changes it. When you're selling something, people have to be happy. That's the key. Not that you weren't happy before. Maybe she was, I don't know. We still haven't eaten yet, so we'll see. Good. And again, I got the reason why I use 2 lights, by the way, instead of just 1 back there is for exactly this reason. So I can shoot fast, catching all the good moments. I charge by the picture, so I got to shoot a lot. Good. Sounds like music. Anyway, we got a nice, clean, wide shot. And of course, I can come in, I have the 85, I can come in a little closer if I want to get a nice tight shot as well. This is kind of pretty. Bring your hand, get closer to the window. There we go. And then just turn your shoulders slightly this way. There you go, pretty, good like that. Nice, one more. Beautiful, just like that, maybe looking down like, oh yeah. Good, perfect. Low with the eyes, low, good. That's it. 1, 2, happy. Good, nice. Cool. Awesome, yeah, those look great. So we got some fun shots here. One thing that's important when you're doing this kind of thing is, right, I've got you can sit down if you like. You've got your model here, she's pregnant, obviously. And, she probably doesn't want to be on her feet all day. Also, if it's a client, they're not a model, right? You don't want to keep them here all day, but you want to give them a lot of variety. So using something I already had set up versus setting up a whole different setup made the shoot go really quickly. We went from one to the other really nicely, so we don't have to wait a long time. She can get some more variety in her looks. Good, a little towards me, good right there. Nice, cool, all right. So we're here doing the last shot, and let me show you what we got going on. Essentially, I wanted to keep it really similar, right? I don't want to keep changing it up. The whole point is to get as many looks as possible without too many changes. So, of course, we still have Jessica. And we've got just a piece of Duvetine hung on the same background we've been using this whole time. This thing has not moved the whole day, right? We've been using this as our base. And I'm just using 2 strip boxes. They're in B1Xs. This one here was giving her kind of like a hair separation light in the back. This one slightly forward is lighting the front of her. She's gonna be looking at me. And off-white shirt against black creates a nice contrast. Let me show you what we got. So you can see we've got a nice kind of contrasty shot, but nice and soft and pretty, right? We've got the black, again, background, the white shirt, nice soft light on her using the strip banks, and we have another look. So that gives us 3 looks that we created pretty quickly without too much time in between, so we could keep things going for the subject. You want to, when you're working with a portrait subject like this, you want to get as many shots as you can in a short enough period of time. They don't want to be here all day, but you want a lot of variety later when you're looking through the photos and they want to use them for various things. So be sure to follow me on social media, Daniel Norton Photographer. Be sure to subscribe to Adorama TV, and I'll see you next time on set.